Hello, my name is Michael Verley, Director and Auctioneer at MVP Auctions. This video is about setting a reserve price. In the dictionary definition, the reserve price is the lowest price you as the owner will accept when selling your property. So I can understand a lot of owners at that point want to set the reserve nice and high because they have two major outcomes or concerns that they are hoping for on auction day, or with selling their home, to be fair. The first of which is they don't want to undersell their property. The second of which, they want to maximize the value of their home. This video is here to set out some of the considerations you should take into account when setting your reserve, because setting it too low might be a good thing. Setting it too high is always a bad thing. There are three scenarios that may take place at auction. Number one, multiple registered bidders, multiple bids, clean, momentum-filled auction, flies past the reserve, property sells. That's the perfect auction. No interference from agent, auctioneer or vendor. Buyer-driven, market-driven, skill-driven price. They tend to be the big ones. Number two is when the reserve is maybe a little too high and the buyers are seeing value below that figure. So you've got registered bidders, they've bid, but we're below the reserve. You have an opportunity there to either pass the property in, which means say no to all the offers and go back to the market, or you have the opportunity to potentially amend your reserve to meet the market. They tend to be the slower, more protracted auctions, and they don't tend to have that same level of energy competition in, which are the vital ingredients for me in driving a premium price. The third scenario is you've had a wonderful campaign, but you just don't have anyone who's able to bid under auction conditions. And that means you enter phase two of the auction process, which is effectively moving into an educated private treaty sale where you have to set a price or a price range on your home and go back to the market with your opinion of value. As much as we would love to have complete control over the auction process, the variable is the buyer's opinion of value. And that will be collected throughout your campaign by good agent questioning and the feedback they provide you as the owner. They should be giving it to you almost daily, but certainly weekly, both either face-to-face or on the telephone and in written form. It's important you understand that feedback and also factor it in to when you're coming to the conclusion about the market value of your home. I would sincerely encourage you to get out into the marketplace and put your buyer's hat on and go and see some of the properties that are directly competing with your home and evaluate them as objectively as you can, because your buyers will be doing that. They have no emotional connection to any of the properties they're seeing. They will simply be comparing the features and benefits and coming to a conclusion of what is worth more to them. And that is why their opinion of value is crucial. And the more property you see, the more you will understand their opinion of value. From the moment you thought about selling your home, you would have had an opinion of what it's worth. No doubt you'd have asked 1, 2, 3, 4 agents to come along and offer you their opinion of value. And it's at this point we need to discount it all. The only really opinion of value that really does matter is the market value. I love auction because it's price free. It allows buyers to get connected, emotionally connected to your home, and then we have an opportunity to maximize the price. There may be someone out there who wants to pay a huge price for your home. We're going to find them. Setting a reserve too high creates a barrier or a hurdle in maximizing your price, as it takes away one of the major tools of auction: momentum, energy, and competition. Buyers really are happy to compete amongst each other. It's the most transparent form, but when they see the bidding stall and we're not selling, they know that they're now competing with an owner whose expectation is above the market. Around 40% of the properties that we take to auction will sell, but below the reserve price. I'll let that sink in. It's important to understand that on auction day, you do have the opportunity to amend your reserve and accept the highest bid that is there on the floor. Remembering it's an unconditional contract, no cooling off period, and a deposit will be paid. The deal is done on auction day. So there's certainly value attached to the auction terms. What I want you to consider is your amended reserve figure, or potentially your take or base price on auction day. I would actually encourage this as a more important value to consider than your reserve price, because I know from all the statistics that we collect that the difference between a reserve price and a take price can be up to 5%, but on average across all the auctions I've done is around 3%. Giving that information to both your agent and your auctioneer before the auction will allow us to run the right strategy to maximize your price. One of the most common questions I get asked at our vendor meetings is, do you call the property on the market as soon as you hit reserve? And the answer is no. The calling it on the market is a tool that an agent and auctioneer can use to help drive the momentum and the energy in an auction. It may not be needed, but there's always the perfect time to do it. It may be way above your set reserve. It may be actually on the set reserve, but it's only used if it's seen as an opportunity to maybe drive the buyers, to encourage that fear of loss and push that price up. Buyers can and often do play the waiting game, and this is a frustration for a lot of agents and auctioneers out there. They are waiting for the auctioneer or agent to tell them that they are selling the property, it's on the market, we are selling, however you phrase it. They have been accustomed to that announcement from a lot of auctioneers and agents over the course of lots of years in this business, and sadly they won't bid until they hear that. So sometimes your agent will come inside and say, look, I've got 2 or 3 buyers, but they're telling me they're not going to bid until it's on the market. At that point, you have to make a decision as whether you want to take that advice, call it on the market and hope for bidding, or pass it in and negotiate. But I'd encourage you to think about it carefully, and really you should be in a position to trust your agent and your auctioneer at that point. I've done auctions recently where we've amended a reserve, called it on the market, and the auction has kicked on another 20, 30, 50, 100, $150,000. But it is a decision you need to take seriously, knowing that if there is no further bidding, then you have announced to the crowd that you are selling the property. You can't take that back. Can you set the reserve too low? No, because a good agent and a good auctioneer are there to maximize the price. And if the reserve is too low, then the bidders and buyers will prove it to us at the auction. They will drive the price in excess of that reserve, and no, we won't call it on the market at that point. We'll keep pushing until there's the opportune moment to maybe plant that fear of loss in the buyers and push a little further. The best auctions for me, and the ones that have seen the best prices, are when the owners are educated, they've done their research, they've been well informed by their agent, they've done their own research, they've listened to the feedback, they've set their reserve in line with the feedback, and they've allowed the market forces and the skill of the agent and auctioneer to drive their price without setting up any barriers to success. I wish you all the best in your auction campaign. If I'm doing your auction, I promise you this: I will do my very best to maximize your price, but I'd like you to play your part in setting a sensible reserve.